Have you ever felt that intense, burning desire to start something new or finally level up, but then you just freeze? You find yourself completely paralyzed before you even take a single step. Well, listen, you are in exactly the right place. Today, in this explainer, we're breaking down a really fascinating approach to growth that completely flips traditional wisdom on its head. So get ready to toss out those overwhelming blueprints because we are about to activate what we call the Brawler Mindset. I mean, does this feel familiar to you? You're standing there at square one, you're filled with genuine eagerness to get better, but you just feel absolutely crushed by this massive boulder of, how do I even start? It is such a universal feeling. You want to move forward, right? But the sheer pressure of trying to do it perfectly right out of the gate, it's just paralyzing. And here's the crazy part. If you take this frustration to a typical success expert, they are almost certainly going to hand you this beautifully designed, flawless blueprint. It'll have, morning meditations, extreme goal breakdowns, highly granular standard operating procedures, the whole shebang. But here is the core problem. Looking at a perfect blueprint actually causes a physiological rejection. Literally. Subconsciously, your brain knows this neat, tidy little formula isn't going to save you. It actually pushes you away from taking action. So let's dive into Section 1, the myth of perfect plans, and exactly why the clearly mapped road is actually a dead end. Think about it like this. In our modern world, where information is everywhere, a detailed roadmap that looks guaranteed to work actually gives off this strange vibe of unreliability. It's kind of like being stuck inside a sealed, transparent glass jar. Sure, the glass is clear. You can see the end goal perfectly. But the incredibly precise, demanding steps required to get out, they make you feel claustrophobic, and that throws you right back into decision paralysis. The logic here is pretty unavoidable. If a path is truly 100% effective, it doesn't stay a secret for long, right? It becomes highly standardized. Think about the standard K-12 to college education system. It's safe, sure, but it leads to what economists call stock competition. It becomes this crowded zero-sum game. When everyone is mimicking the exact same standard motions and following the exact same blueprint, well, mediocrity becomes the only possible destination. If everyone does it, you're just going to be average. So when perfect plans just lead to a dead end, it's time to change our strategy entirely. On one hand, you have the expert's blueprint, which is rigid, it requires deep overthinking, and as we just saw, it triggers paralysis. But the alternative? That is the brawler strategy. This approach abandons complex plans entirely. Instead, it focuses purely on generating momentum, taking small tests, and quick, messy iteration. Which brings us to Section 2, activate the melee mindset. Why the brawler defeats the master.
In martial arts, there's this old saying that a wild brawler can often defeat a highly trained master. And why is that? It's because raw, rule-breaking vitality creates incredible momentum. Listen, you do not need a perfectly designed system before you take your very first step. You just need enough raw energy to strike out and find some immediate positive feedback. We really need to stop trying to close the loop before we've even started moving.
To really activate this brawler mindset, you have got to break the unwritten rules. Seriously, stop waiting for everything to be perfectly ready. Strike wildly. Try things out just to generate an immediate result. You want to prioritize low-cost feedback in real combat situations. Just realize that success, in even your actual form, are things you figure out after you start swinging, not before. All right, let's look at Section 3, Burger Shop Survival Rules. This is a real-world case study in messy action. Let's completely ground this theory in reality. Say you want to open a burger shop. The experts, well, they'll tell you to conduct extensive location research, pay a massive franchise fee, and calculate your exact return on investment over 5 years. It is an expensive, super high-risk plan. But the brawler? The brawler goes for 0 franchise fees and immediate street-level testing. The mantra here is, don't buy the blueprint, test the reality. So how does the brawler actually execute this in real life? It breaks down into 3 highly actionable tactics: the extreme minimal test, down-dimensional intel gathering, and paid simulation. Step 1 is the extreme minimal test. Don't worry about branding, and definitely, absolutely do not rent a storefront yet. Just go to a large supermarket, buy some ready-made burger buns and some pre-marinated chicken. Then set up a basic street stall right downstairs. The very second you sell your first burger, you instantly gather critical data. You learn about taste acceptance, material loss, and the real, actual temperature of the market. You've completely bypassed the paralysis and prioritized low-cost feedback on day one.
Now, if setting up a stall still feels a little too heavy, we move to step 2, down-dimensional intel gathering. Instead of opening a store, why not become a takeout delivery driver for 3 months? By using your own physical labor, you are secretly mapping out core commercial secrets. You learn exactly who the target demographic is. You find out which specific neighborhoods have the highest repurchase rates. You even spot which packaging completely collapses during actual transport. It is a brilliant zero-risk way to do market research.
And if you want to eliminate risk entirely, you use paid simulation. You want to open a burger shop? Go get a frontline job at one. You get paid a wage while enjoying a front row seat to the owner's biggest mistakes. You're literally earning money to gather the intelligence that the experts told you to pay for. It totally elevates the mundane idea of getting a part-time job into a masterclass in business strategy and avoiding landmines. This takes us to our final part, Section 4, Find Direction in Action and Letting Logic Grow Right from the Dirt. You see, these survival rules, they don't just apply to selling burgers. They apply to your personal growth, your career, your new side hustle, whatever it is. The optimal start is almost always clumsy, it's messy, and it completely lacks grace. Doing small things that look super unpolished is exactly what a true start looks like. Forget about looking professional or having every little thing perfectly aligned. The messiness, that's just proof that you are actually in the arena.
So, the next time you feel that heavy anxiety creeping back in, remember this simple directive: sink into the granularity of specific tasks. Just stop agonizing over the big picture of how to get better. Dive into the gritty, immediate details of whatever tiny action you can take right now. Chop the chicken, deliver the burger, write that first terrible draft. Action is what cures anxiety.
Because the ultimate thesis of all this is pretty simple. The path to growth isn't written on paper. It is fought out in the melee. You literally cannot think your way to a perfect outcome. You have to abandon those complex plans and fight your way forward, relying on small tests and immediate feedback to figure out your very next move. So I'm going to leave you with this one challenge today. What small, messy, unpolished action will you start today? Tear up the blueprint. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Step into the chaos, activate that brawler mindset, and just start swinging. Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see what you start building or brawling out there in the real world.